Yeah.
When I was doing OBS stuff, at one point I had like 18 viewers, and I was like, "What?"
Where did you come
but
from?
same, but well, but here's the thing though. There was quite a number of people who just pop into chat for just like saying like one or two things, or like say a few messages and then leave. But otherwise, it was just the exact same people in chat, and so I was like, why are there so many people more watching than usual, and yet my chat is exactly the same as it's always been.
Yeah. That's Twitch in a nutshell, though.
And yet I've got 4 viewers now.
Yeah.
It would seem that if I want to find my niche, get my viewers coming in, it seems that clearly the obvious answer is just do OBS dev all the time.
Worth experimenting with, you know?
Although to be fair, yesterday's stream was very productive.
It was. You basically got it finished.
Okay. I got a working prototype.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, and it has limitations.
Oh, as does any working
expand.
prototype.
The expand button doesn't actually do anything.
Which that ended up being more complicated to do anyway, so...
Yeah, because the method I was using to put the widgets in there is technically only supposed to be for static content.
Hmm.
And if I was to do some redrawing, apparently it's not very good on performance, and the way if you want it to be good on performance, you have to run your own custom view and model.
Yeah.
View defining how it looks, model determining the data. Now traveling to the set. It's the same thing as the source list. It has its own list, view and model.
Yep.
Let's try Widowmaker. Because I've got the new skin, so might as well.
It's a valid reason.
Yeah. But, so... And if I want it to perform well, I'm going to need to run my own view and model, which means I need to learn how that works.
Yeah.
At the same time, is performance really an issue when most of the time it isn't actually having to redraw anything?
This is true.
But at the same time, it's still probably worthwhile because it's going to be easier when things have to change in size, and maybe I can even do some animate the notifications in or something, possibly. I don't know. The Qt widget system is very limited in that regard. Whereas...
I just realized my webcam won't be in sync with my mic.
Oh no! Which one is one delayed? Which one's delayed?
The mic is delayed because of Audition. I just have to add an async video delay to the webcam. And I don't know why, but my frame rate is sitting around 40 at the moment, which is not what I want. Oh, we're dead.
Oh, I got killed.
That is classified as dead, yes.
Well, I wasn't dead yet. And you called me dead. Preemptive. Thank you. Hell. I see you in the chat.
I will say though, I have my ultimate already.
That's much better.
So that's fun.
Oh crap, that's
Oh no, I shouldn't have ulted.
I didn't realize there was a hole in the that went into the ocean there.
I don't know why my video settings are weird.
Not my proudest moment.
That changes my thinking.
Yeah.
I don't have many proud moments in this game yet.
They'll come.
Regenerating the cellular structure.
How are you doing,
I got
Panda?
someone as Widowmaker sniping for once. I actually managed to snipe someone. That's a new feeling.
That's good. Oh my god, this diva just will not die.
Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
My condition is improved.
Oh hey, headshot!
No one get into position.
Oh god.
Surrender to my will.
It's half the team down just like that.
My ultimate wasn't that badly timed.
Yeah. Oh jeez. Oh no.
Oh wait, it's multiple rounds, that's right.
So you're
I'm
saying
gonna
you
try
were
and stick
productive.
with Widowmaker and try and get good at some other character.
You're in pain from being productive. Oh, you know what it probably is? No, actually it's not. I thought it might be because I had YouTube running. I'm gonna give this a bit of a...
Hey Daddy-O. That's a really old
Doing nothing is fun
phrase,
too.
statement, saying. Daddy-O. That's like old swing songs.
Yes, and if you look at the skin
Crap,
she's
I
got,
didn't mean
it's
to use
designed
that.
to be very old.
Right.
Allow me to repair the damage.
So my kind of thing.
I have regrets.
I don't have
Generating
regret.
a cellular structure. I will rebuild you. I'm on
Woohoo!
fire. You'd be wise to stay out of my sight.
Oh, it's that position. I didn't even realize it.
I was worried our Genji just got wrecked there, but no. He survived.
I got a really long shot up on someone.
Nice.
I cast this forth.
There's a diva coming for me.
Yep, she got ya.
I will
They
draw
finally found where I was sniping them from.
Help me.
Yeah.
Seeing me fade.
Me too, Panda. Me
What
too.
does he do for Widow?
It's one of the reasons why I love Moira. Oh, jeez.
Surrender to my will.
What?
Oh, just everyone's very close to dying, and...
I'm not.
Oh, regret.
Oh hey, I've got.
Repairing the damage.
He had nowhere to run.
This is my
I'm gonna wait
will.
until more than I can before I use my ultimate.
I'm under attack.
Oh hey, we're almost best way.
Surrender to my will. I'm on fire.
Uh-oh.
All evidence supports this plan.
We lost Brigida.
I require assistance.
Where's the Ana shooting from?
I will draw the strength from your body.
Right there. I've never seen a diva up there before. That's amazing.
See, I didn't mean to grapple right in front of them, but I did, and so the only thing I could do is just like, well, I guess I'm shooting this diva in front of me.
One way to do it.
So can you expect 8-hour div stream 8 days a week now? Sure.
I mean, we should totally, like, dual stream a OBS dev session of some kind.
But you'd have to start doing more OBS dev stuff.
Oh no, I could just be in Discord shouting suggestions at you. Distracting you, you know?
Sort of like how when I would shout the suggestions at you for when making 07 craft.
Yeah. I'm
When are you gonna do
hoping
that
to
again?
start doing more of those streams in January.
Thank you, because that was fun last when you did that last.
Yeah.
I greatly enjoy the problem-solving aspect to it.
Me too. It's too bad I'm not a very great Java developer, otherwise I'd be writing the plugins to solve the problems too.
Get into position. If we are to progress, we must claim the objective.
Oh, geez. Oh, I didn't use my hook in time. I could have maybe salvaged that.
Claim the objective.
No, no. Panic.
Surrender to my will.
Oh. Why
Java
would
isn't
you
an
hate
inherently
Java?
bad language.
It's not that bad.
Rains from above. That changes my thinking.
I
It has
enjoy it.
its
I'm just not very good
problems,
at it.
though.
Yeah, most of our
I've
teams
started to take a liking to C. Like, not even C++, like pure C. I've started taking a liking to it.
I'm under attack.
I'm sure Jim is happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, a person in my chat room goes, I hate Java. It's like J.R. Tolkien made C++.
That's what I was responding to.
Right. I forgot you had that.
Oh,
open.
God. Their ash got me. I didn't even see them until they'd already sort of started.
Yeah, that's the problem with Ash. Sometimes you don't notice her. Oh, come on, where did that Mercy go? No!
Oh, you can't go that high. Darn it.
There was a flaw in my approach.
Yeah, I don't think we got this.
I am capturing the objective.
Yeah, no, everyone's dead.
I require assistance. Group up.
I'm not dead.
Time
But
for
I'm
the
not
list.
exactly going to.
Yet.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna just use my ultimate while we have a chance. We'll have a chance to.
Get into position.
Run!
Yeah. I like. Java isn't an inherently bad language. It does have problems, and I would rather not have to write it ever again if I could. I know that doesn't exactly blend well with. Well, it's a fine language, but I'd never want to write it ever again. I understand that that's like very different. That's saying two very completely different things. But it is the case.
Yeah.
You like how concise C++ is?
C++ looks like gibberish to me.
just because C++ has a whole lot more types to it, and so it's like harder to understand exactly what things are.
And defining types is a pain in the ass. Or like it's very
Like C
strange.
has the benefit that C doesn't have classes, and it doesn't have its standard library is relatively limited.
Yeah.
But it's very powerful a language in general.
Thanks for your support.
So C has the advantage, like there's not too much to it, but it's just hard to get your head around initially. But because there's not too much to it, then it's relatively simple to read once you can. C++ just has a whole lot of extra crap that I just can't break through.
I'm gonna grab my loot box before we go to the next game.
So I mean, like, I haven't done any thing with standard library vectors in C++, or I don't know what's the benefit of a. I've never had a point where I thought, you know what I need is a unique vector. Sorry, a unique pointer, I should say. There's no point where I felt I've needed a unique pointer. There's been no point where I've really felt that it was absolutely. Well, to be fair, I've also never been in a situation where I've needed to do stuff like, say, multi-threading.
Yeah. Multi-threading in any language is a pain in the butt.
And also, even then, conciseness is not necessarily a good thing.
Yes.
I would much rather longer code that I can understand than short code that's hard to understand.
Yeah. I'd much prefer to be able to read rather than pass, you know?
Enjoy the game now because later you'll hate it. Hey, Jorsa, how's it going?
I mean, you haven't reached the hate point yet, so...
And I'm still having fun. And you said, did you say you haven't reached the hate point?
No. It can get frustrating if I'm playing, say, competitive by myself. But overall...
I'm starting to reach a point where if I... In Rocket League, if I play competitive solo,
Tim.
I will hate myself within
Hope your day's going
2
well.
hours. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm reaching a point where, for my own good in Rocket League, I should stop playing competitive solo ever. Like, okay, it's fine if I play enough games to make sure I place, but after that point, no.
Yeah.
I want to try Zarya.
Yeah, go for it. She's a lot of fun. The only challenge
How do you
with
play
her
Zarya?
is that the strength of her weapon is dependent on people shooting the bubbles that she applies to herself and her teammates.
I was like, Alpha is correct though. There is a happy medium, and Python is a really nice language. To be fair,
Yeah.
being in terms of easy to read.
Python's a lovely language. I really like
so
using it for like small scripts where I just need something to run.
Well, I think it's like just like as a quick prototyping language for one,
Yeah.
but also just like if you just need to make something quickly, and it doesn't have to be in the best performance, like it just has to be elegant rather than efficient, then
Yeah.
Python.
Tim, you need
Absolutely.
to bring me one of those when you come back to Melbourne. I need a McChicken McMuffin in my life.
I don't really get most of the hate for JavaScript. I mean, I understand some of it, but there are plenty of people who seemingly
I am empowered.
I don't.
I wonder if
I don't
part of it is only because it's used in, you know, the web, or if it's
okay, how do I
because
play
it's
Zarya?
not
So this
typed
is
by
why it's a bit
default,
more
or
important right
both.
now. How to
I'm
play Zarya
curious
is kind of a
which
bit
is
more
the big
important
one.
right now.
Yeah.
How to play Zarya is kind of important right now. How do I play as Zarya?
When someone's about to shoot you, hit shift. If you see a teammate that's getting shot a lot, hit E, and that will charge up your weapon so that it does more damage. The number in the middle of the screen determines how much charge your weapon has. The higher the number, the more
It doesn't
damage you'll
feel
do.
like my left-click weapon's doing anything.
Yes. That's what it'll feel like until you get that number in the middle above, like, 10.
My team
Maintaining it
Oh, I meant to hit
is
shift
also
there, but I
tricky.
didn't do it in time.
Yeah, the bubble will save you as well, so keep that in mind.
Don't go in when you don't have shield up, okay. So
Yep.
note to self.
Oh god, I have regrets.
Sorry, but I completely missed everything you said in response to my JavaScript thing because I kept asking, hey, Zarya's more important, I didn't know how to play. So I kind of ignored everything you said, sorry.
That's alright. Yeah, Panda, that's definitely one of the biggest downsides of JavaScript. And the thing that bugs me personally is the Shadow DOM, which is what stuff like React is very dependent on. And that's only because I don't feel in control of the DOM.
What's the Shadow DOM again?
It's basically the DOM, but you don't have direct access to it.
Right, so you're not talking, because it's a okay, React. Wait, no, React is a virtual DOM, though, isn't it?
I don't know, whichever it is. Either way, it
I thought
sucks.
the Shadow DOM is a specific thing in that actually is part of the way the browser behaves,
Maybe.
rather than...
Oh, this is gonna kill me.
I do not know how to play... I do not know how to play Zarya, it turns out.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Even though you've told
Yeah, that'll
me.
happen.
So, okay, tell me if I'm doing something wrong. I see that I'm about to charge in, so I put my shield up and then charge in. Am I doing something wrong?
No. Sometimes you might want to delay the actual, bubble until you're actually getting hit by something. And you also want to make sure to bubble teammates that are nearby. Oh god, I have regrets.
Oh, they used the bomb. They used their ultimate bomb thing, that's why. That's why
Yeah,
it wasn't
Panda-
taking any damage when I was shooting it.
Yeah.
Why'd I do that?
Panda, I know exactly how you feel. We use jQuery in our stuff, but I've kind of had to teach myself to only use it for reading and not for writing, because we have to keep the React stuff in sync with the DOM that you actually see, and it's a pain in the ass.
Back in action.
Oh, there are things I hate about React as well. Mainly because I don't feel in control of the DOM.
Oh yeah, I'm getting damage off.
E.
Hey, we stole the objective.
Worth
Oh,
it.
it's payload.
Yep, this is what's called a hybrid map.
What's my ultimate?
Your ultimate is a gravity well. You basically throw it, and everyone near it will be pulled into a specific spot for a few seconds.
And does that include teammates?
No, just enemy. Oh god. Oh god.
I put that in the wrong place, didn't I?
The biggest issue I've run into recently, Panda, in terms of React and State, is because of how the React lifecycle methods work, and in terms of updating. What I have is a bootstrap dropdown on every row of a 50-row table, and whenever the parent component, which is the page itself, updates, every icon in every dropdown, so there's about 14 icons in each dropdown, each of them trigger an update, which then causes the update to take a second and a half. So I have to add... What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make the table itself its own component that only gets updated when the values of the table itself change, so that the icons don't trigger an update, which speeds up our page actually doing things.
I very quickly stopped using jQuery as much as possible.
I like jQuery for its utilities, right?
Same. Oh, like, if I'm doing a quick prototype, .animate is so helpful for graphical stuff. Just being like, select element, .animate, and then pass it a property, and it'll just do it. Like, that's super useful. I didn't even realize I was being hit from behind.
But in terms of actually, you know, manipulating the DOM with jQuery, a lot of the stuff that jQuery was originally designed to do can now be done with just regular JavaScript. Stuff like query selector, you know.
I will not fail.
I generally speaking don't even use query selector unless it's class-based.
Yeah.
And even then, you don't really need... You could still do it without query selector. You just have to do find by class name, and then you have to do some loop.
Yeah. It's just a lot easier to do things without jQuery than it used to be.
Rains from above.
I suck as Zarya. So far.
Team needs me.
Get healed.
30 seconds remaining.
Lucio coming at you.
Clearing the area.
That didn't propel me forward at all.
Junkrat primed and ready.
I need to get rid of this stupid Genji. He's gonna kill me anyway.
Not have time to wait. That was now.
Well,
Yeah, Panda, that's the problem with JavaScript. It's not JavaScript itself, it's whichever framework you have chosen or someone else has chosen for you. Like, if I were to write my own applications, it would... Now that I know React as well as I do, I would not use it.
so you would not tell me to use React for stuff?
Maybe for something simple,
Well, you say it
but not
depends.
for a complicated application. And I don't know if
Sorry?
that's because I don't understand it after a year and 2 months of working with it, or it's just designed in such a way where one of the big things
I mean,
that...
but big applications are being built with React. I think, though.
Yeah, like Facebook. And the thing is, they design React very Facebook specific.
Well,
and the
Discord's
way...
React.
True. Oh, Golang,
On
really?
iOS, it's React Native.
Yeah, I actually wonder if React Native is nicer to work with than React. But, like, issues that I run into are, okay, one of the things we need to do is break out our components to be, you know, say 5 levels instead of 2, right?
Now arriving at
But then passing data from the top level down to the bottom level is a pain in the ass. And it's like, well, am I supposed to use a single component where everything is easy to manipulate? Or 5, where performance will be better, but passing information is a pain in the ass? And I just don't want to have to deal with either option, you know?
I just do pretty much everything. If it's using the DOM, I pretty much do everything vanilla and without. Like, I don't even use Bootstrap or anything like that at all.
I
But
like
if
using Bootstrap
CSS,
because
like-
it means I don't have to put in effort, right? I can just add a padding 5 class or a, you know, or make an easy table view. Like, it saves that kind of effort. But I can see why people avoid it.
I like doing stuff myself, though. That's part of it.
5,
Yeah.
4, 3, 2.
I also don't like shipping with more stuff than I absolutely need.
Oh yeah, React and jQuery and Bootstrap, which are our, you know, our core basically, they are pretty big together.
They're big individually too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still
Just
learning
hardly
how to
get it.
properly code split,
jQuery.
not jQuery specifically, React. So right now, when you load our page, it loads 2 JavaScript files immediately, which are about like 1.5 MB each. And I haven't figured out how to only load the files that you need depending on the page you're on, because every time I've tried, it hasn't worked properly.
Time to be young to die.
I haven't touched Ruby yet, Panda.
Neither have I. Okay, can someone explain to me what Ruby on Rails is meant to be? And how is it different from Ruby? Isn't Ruby one of those languages which uses the Java VM? I'm pretty sure Ruby is in the Java version.
Ha! I am okay with only getting Mercy with my ult there. Why have we not actually capped the point yet? What is this?
I was trying to kill off the rest of them.
Hmm.
I'm on fire.
See, here's the thing for me, Panda. Random scripting is more fun to me than working on a giant application. Like, yeah, I enjoy working on the project I'm working on because it's a cool project. But if I had to choose, I would definitely prefer to be making a bunch of smaller things.
Should have used like shift there, but I didn't.
Is that Bastion's name Yikes? Yes, it is.
What's my ultimate?
You throw a little snowball which then freezes everything in its area. I don't know if nano boosting me was a good idea.
Okay, I managed to get out of the way of that.
Same.
Did anyone get killed from that Diva ultimate?
I don't know.
Oh jeez.
Defense matrix activated. Time to raise my APM.
Oh, hi there, 420 Hellions.
Get through this.
How you doing? Hope your Christmas was good.
I'm gonna shoot you down.
Well, I killed Ash.
Nice. We lost our Lucio and our Widow though.
Haven't had enough. Time to raise my APM.
And their Bastion's alive and well.
Healed up. Do something. Bailing out. No.
Oh, that's where I was being shot from. There's a Bastion on the
The
roof.
Overwatch is going alright. We're not winning
How did
every
Bastion
game,
get up
but
there?
we're not doing
But it's not
absolutely
Bastion.
horribly.
Diva
Let's put it that way. Oh. I don't think we've won this round. Oh, actually.
nerf this.
I might be able to turn this around a bit. No, no, come
I
on.
wish I could see what the percentages and everything were in the replay.
You can hit space to skip the replay, which is what I often do.
Oh.
Yeah, D.Va's great. I haven't played her a lot recently, but she's very easy to get back into. Their Mercy decided shooting instead of healing was a good idea, and I think she regrets that now.
Oh, that's us.
Victory!
History will forget you.
Round 1 to us. I'm gonna try switching to D.Va again. I'm currently. Oh wait, D.Va's already taken. Yeah, man, you say don't switch, Because I assume that me saying I'd switch to D.Va make you switch. It's fine. Don't have to do it.
I may have 4 gold medals right now.
Right.
That is a possibility.
I have 2
I also
bronzes.
realize... Yeah, my... That one. Okay. Now my in-game audio should turn down when I talk.
Oh, was your
Oh.
ducking not working?
Yeah, I had it set to my VR mic, which isn't currently hooked up.
I have 10 health.
The fact that I managed to kill that Mercy.
I almost killed a Widowmaker with 10 health.
This Moira is keeping the D.Va alive and I don't like it. Oh, the Bastion! What is our Widow doing? Every time I look at her, she's dead.
Oh, I should have used lift shift. I keep forgetting I have lift shift.
And then when you stop playing Mei, it's even worse because you hit the button and you're like, oh, I was hoping that would save me.
I have lift shift. I have lift shift. I tried to get out of the way of that, but didn't.
Well, there are 2 ways to protect yourself from stuff like that. Your wall
Lift
or
shift.
your shift.
Yeah, lift shift. That thing that I was just saying, I have lift shift. The thing
Yeah.
that could have saved me there, that I was already mentioning I have.
Yeah.
I'm really good at this. I did it that time. But then Ash killed me afterwards.
Enemies reviving.
I'm switching to Wrecking Ball.
That's half the team. No. Okay, we got the Mercy. This is good. Uh-oh. Basically,
How have I
Panda.
not died yet?
Incredible healers. Now we just need to hold this without letting them cap it at all. So this should be good.
Should I just keep spinning? I could be useful elsewhere, I'll do that.
No, Hellions, this is
I
a
need
team
heal.
effort. Oh god.
Dang it.
Oh jeez.
I was more used on the point, but it's not, it doesn't increase the percentage faster by being on the point. So if they were
Correct,
trying
but
to
it's
attack
easier
the
to
point,
defend
it was
when
better
you're
for me
near
to
it.
be in a position to actually, like, prevent them reaching the point. I
Oh
wasn't
no,
doing
the Bastion
better
got
by being
rezzed.
on
I'm
the
screwed.
Ejecting.
Who's over here? Aha. It's too bad my aim's terrible.
Mecha activated. Do something. Routing power to forward shield. I'm on
What's my ultimate again?
You freeze everyone in an area. You basically
No,
throw a
I'm
thing.
Wrecking Ball again, remember?
Oh, you're Wrecking Ball. It is a zoning ult. Wherever you stand and press the ult button, you'll get, what are they? Proximity mines around you. Nice.
time to raise my APM.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, Panda, but I definitely will.
Victory.
That was the longest round ever.
Play
Hey, I helped.
game.
It was a team effort.
I like how I got shot for when I've never done anything in chat in this game, ever.
Yes. Because people just go, oh yeah, actually our healers were fantastic, so I'm gonna quickly... Yay, hamster dude.
Where's that? Oh, hey Ash, how's it going? Hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day it is. Thinking of one of those. Hey, I was bronze at one point. Why didn't I get there? Oh, hey, I got a loot box.
I mean, everyone hates goats right now,
Oh,
Hellions.
game found. Joy.
Arriving at watch point.
I didn't even get to see what was in it.
It happens.
Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
Looks like I'm going healer this time.
Well, I can't-
Everyone hates goats right now, Hellions. I don't really
Thank
have
you,
an
but
opinion
might
on the meta.
currently be my favorite
It doesn't
character to play as.
stand out as being something I'm running into
Even
a
though
lot.
Bastion is the best.
I continue to just play Brigitte and Moira in comp, and that seems to work well enough for me.
Science
No,
will
no,
reveal
no.
the truth.
I don't recall.
I hope this doesn't take too long. I have a show to put on.
I have a shirt up.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Oh, I remember this map now. Oh, hey, this map has New Zealand on it. It's not a terrible map. Although the resolution means the North Island looks very weird. The North Island doesn't have the correct shape to it.
It also feels like it's very far away from Australia, and I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I mean, well, sorry. It's a flat, it's an equi-rectangular map, so it's not correct, but...
Yeah, right.
To the furtherance of science as we can. Become power.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of, Yeah, we've seen a lot of Bastions today, Panda. Hellions, I don't remember exactly what the definition of goats is.
Must all make sense.
I don't follow the meta that much because personally I don't care. I just play what I'm comfortable playing.
ensure the payload.
See, I only care about meta in games, which is
Regenerating
lax.
cellular structure.
I only care about the meta in games which are more deterministic.
There you go. Goats' triple tank, triple support. Usually Zarya, D.Va, Reinhardt, Lucio, Moira, and Brigitte.
I only really care about the meta in games where it's very deterministic, like card games.
Yeah.
Because like there's a meta there, but it's still a very predictable game in terms of that. It's not like there's it's not as if a person's reaction time will lose or win the game, or
Which in this case it will.
Luck. Like the strokes of luck you get in a card game is card draw, but generally speaking, it's significantly more deterministic, and that's a kind of game where it's like the meta kind of makes sense because a dominant strategy in that is going to be typically a much more dominant strategy.
Hellions, that's entirely up to you. I don't mind wherever you watch, as long as you
because it's deterministic.
as long as you hang out.
If you do
you know?
end up winning for a particular strategy, it's usually a sign that you're doing something right. Whereas if you win as a particular character in a game like Overwatch, it can very easily be that you just were lucky that. Like, how do you know how much of it is luck and skill, and how much of it is actually a dominant strategy?
Yeah, exactly.
All of those factors just result in me not really caring.
I'm happy just playing the game, you know?
Particularly into this game. Sorry?
This will heal you.
What were you gonna say?
I'm happy just playing. I don't need to, you know, think hard about who's playing what
My condition has improved.
You like
and
having
how
fun.
people are playing. Yeah. Isn't that why we play games?
Maybe.
Your body decays.
I mean,
Oh,
play
no!
games I care about.
I hit shift, but Bastion shot me at the exact same time, and favor of the shooter ended up being my downfall.
Faced with a setback, we must
So, like, for
challenge
example, like,
ourselves.
a card game I've played a lot of, which most people haven't
Yes,
heard of, is
Hellions.
called
That's
Yomi.
that's the general consensus that
And
Goats is very boring to watch.
effectively, it was from a previously pro Street Fighter player, and it was effectively someone trying to take the strategy component to a fighting game. Fighting game, obviously, there's plenty of strategy to it. There's also just like matchups that are a big component for that and all that. But a lot of the issue is a lot of that strategy is hidden behind real-time
That was amazing.
it's real-time, like reaction time and button presses, remembering button combinations.
Yeah.
So the benefit of a card game is that you can take those strategic moments and you can like extend them out to a whole turn of a game, and you don't have to remember button combinations because you have what your cards and everything does. It's all in front of you at a given point in time.
Has the next Melbourne Esports Open been announced?
So, but
'Cause
then it just
yes,
leaves you to
if it
purely
is.
think about like the strategic side of it, and because it's matchups between specific characters. Each character has a 52 card poker deck with stuff on it, and it's not like a deck building game like Magic the Gathering. You're not building a deck. Each character has a deck.
Yeah.
And so like the meta comes from, okay, what is the good way to use these sets of cards that you're given?
Void of
What is a
Vision,
good
welcome to the
strategy
order.
for
Thanks for the
using
follow.
these cards, or chaining these correctly, or making the correct combos in order to defeat
How are you doing today?
another character in this particular matchup.
Very
And
cool
as
name
people
too.
discover, hang on, if I do this, this, and this, it tends to be a lot better against this character who can only really do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But because you can guarantee that another person has that specific 52 card deck if they're playing a specific character, it's significantly more deterministic.
Yeah.
And that's a game where I think like the meta makes sense. Because
I'm
it's all
very good
about
for Void of Vision. I'm glad it's the
People
weekend,
thinking
you know?
carefully about the interaction between different characters and what they're good at.
Hi, Kitty.
Whereas
Welcome.
in Overwatch, though, or like a game like
Hope your
this,
day's
that's
going
only
well.
really true in the larger and more general sense. Like on average, the meta holds true, but on an individual game basis, it doesn't necessarily.
Yeah. But Hellions, confirm for
There was
5 years.
one point in
Yes,
time where I was
please.
trying to get everyone to play Yomi. No one ever did.
As I said, after Melbourne Esports Open, when I got home, I was like,
Such a good game.
if I could go to something like this once a
one plays
month,
it
I
anymore,
would.
though.
Like, that's how much fun it was.
Like all the people, like I technically took part in a Yomi competition or tournament, I should say, and I actually got decently far into it.
Yeah.
And it was because I primarily played as two characters, and I would play them the wrong way. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be actively going, I'm gonna play these characters the wrong way. It would just be like, it would show itself, like, through the course of the game. It'd be like, in responding to my opponent, I'd end up playing the characters the wrong way. But because no one could predict what I was doing, and because I sort of knew the decks well enough to be able to still make that shift in strategy, I was able to still win quite a few games. And like that's an example of of a meta, because you're like, well, people are used to this character playing in this particular way, but if you play it in a different way, people don't know how to respond.
Yeah. Because
That's an example of them.
Yeah, people learn
sorry.
how to defeat specific metas rather than, you know, specific well, not even setups, just playstyles, I guess.
Yeah. But in a game like this, if you're playing a character wrong, you're probably gonna die very quickly.
Yes. And you will die often.
Yeah. So you just have to learn the right way to play a character.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
the meta comes from like which characters have your team chosen, rather than how you actually play.
Yep.
And that's boring to me.
Yep, I'll stick to playing for fun.
Whereas like individual play styles and like the individual match metas, that's really interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
But I also just
and
get
that's
really
why I like
serious
watching
about
analysis of like esports Overwatch matches, because then you're not learning a specific comp, you're learning why certain people did what they did in that match. And that's why it's important to have you know, the commentators know the game well, not just, you know, not just the meta, but
Reinhardt.
understanding.
I defeated the Reinhardt.
Oh yeah, Void Division is also right. Meta is different in low levels to top tier levels, but the problem you run into, especially in Overwatch, is that people at low
will
levels
follow the
think
item.
they need to use the top level meta, which only, you know, most of the top level metas only work because the players playing are either very good at the game or because they're very good working together. Oh, I walked out of the range of Ryan's shield there. That was a mistake.
Okay, is in a video on Yomi that an old friend of mine made. He mentioned how in chess, very few people ever get to actually invent new strategies.
Yeah.
Because there's so much skill you have to gain and so much memorization that you have to do. You have to dedicate pretty much like your life to a game. And then, like, once you've done all that, then you can start actually coming up with new strategies, because you've gotten enough of a grasp of the game at that given point to be able to get that infinite understanding and not just reinvent what other people have already done. It is sort of true for a game like this too. Like, you need to sort of have that time spent.
Where did the Roadhog come from? I was not ready.
Because otherwise, like, you're just coming up with... if you're trying to come up with strategies, you're either going to reinvent something that someone's already done, or you're just gonna not be good enough to really understand the implications of your strategy and end up losing or being basically making the result of a game come down to luck.
Yeah. And that's also one of the reasons
to have-
I would not
Sorry.
want to be able to play in the high ranks, is because then in a lot of situations, a lot of the tactics, a lot of the comps of, you know, which heroes people choose are going to be very similar because the goal is to win, right?
I mean, technically the goal is to win here, but
For me, the goal is to
Details.
practice, because I'm bad, you know, all the time.
I got one person at least.
I knew that hack was going to get me. Yes. And that's one of the most interesting things to me, Void of Vision. The fact that the rules do change. That the meta does shift because basically the developers go, hey, you know, we need to adjust this. And like that's why GOATs exist. Because people hated the dive meta, so the devs changed the way the game works.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Question. With all the talk of people going on about esports versus what is esports sports, has anyone ever, like, I don't recall the last time I've ever heard anyone talk about, like, is Magic the Gathering a sport?
Is it?
I don't know, because we don't have a term for that kind of thing. We have card game tournaments where you have, like, stuff like that, but no one, like, there is no, like, esports-like term for it. That I know of, at least.
Yeah.
I'd say
don't
Magic
know.
the Gathering has an equal right to being a... Or at least a competition. Like, okay, if you can call chess a sport... Which some people do.
That's literally what Void just wrote. If chess can be a sport, then games can be too.
Yeah, so I was just trying to think, though, then...
Tactical visor activated.
Magic the Gathering have tournaments often have to ban cards, or like it's any card game really. You have to ban certain cards from tournaments because they just make the game uninteresting.
Well, in the same way that, I mean, in
And
terms
that's
of
also,
Overwatch,
my point was that it's not a video game specific thing. That was my point.
yeah, that's true. Bloody golf is a sport. This is also true.
I mean,
But I think
Corona,
the
my
downside
Rocket
of the
League
word
partner,
sport
plays.
is it is so generic. Like, even before video games, right?
I was just gonna, sorry. I was gonna say, as far as sports, like my Rocket League partner, Corona, he plays curling.
Oh yeah, that's considered a
That's just-
sport too.
It is a sport. That's not even like a. That's like not even just trying. That's not even up for debate, in my opinion. And not just because you know, he's my friend and all.
You've had enough discussions with him where you've determined, okay, fine,
Oh
it's
no,
a
we've
sport.
had a lot of discussions on stream about like how would we define sport. Because he doesn't think that esports should be classified as sports. He has nothing against the term esports. He doesn't say that their sports aren't sports like, or that they aren't competitive or skill based. He just he wants to draw a distinction between sport and video games.
I
So we've
don't
had
see the need
lots of
to.
We've had lots of conversations on stream. Like, if we had to define it, give a definition for sport that would include something like chess, but I mean, he doesn't think it's a sport anyway. But just like, if we were to take all the things which are like traditionally classified as sports, even in the stretched definitions like chess, but would still have to exclude.
That was a great
video
time
games,
for me to
you
ult,
come up
just
with a
saying.
definition. Given how very awkward, undefined sport is anyway. I did come up with one that actually worked. I did manage to come up with a definition for a sport that would disclude video games but would include chess. And the basic is just it has to come down to ownership. Because
Ah.
no matter what happens with with Overwatch, no matter what happens with the competitive scene, Blizzard still owns Overwatch. No one owns chess.
Yeah,
The
true.
entire sport of the entire esport of Overwatch is beholden to what Blizzard does.
Which...
No one can make their own Overwatch version with their own different rules without being a copyright infringer.
I mean,
Whereas if you
technically
wanna
you
make
can
your own
run
version
custom
of soccer-
games with different rule sets. But yes, you can't...
That's still beholden to Blizzard.
Yes.
You can't make your own Overwatch like you could make your own soccer.
Which then, okay, what would you classify something like Counter-Strike to be then? Because Counter-Strike does allow you to run custom servers, but for the client, people still have to download it from Valve.
And
like now
in
you
some
can get
ways-
now you can get CS:GO for free, right? Because that's now free to play technically. So you're not
I mean, like,
tied to
okay.
having to buy it, but you are tied to...
there is still an ownership by Valve.
Yeah.
They still own it, and there is still like it would still be trademark or copyright infringement to try and make certain kinds of variations on it.
Yeah.
It might be permitted or it might be accepted by the companies, but in some regards it would still be, unless there was an explicit agreement put in place by... I was hoping to shoot that forward, it didn't work. Unless there's an explicit agreement put in place by the company, then it will always be, to some degree, infringement. And that is, in my opinion, can actually be very problematic to the growth of the sport.
Yes.
And so,
Which
like,
I think that
if
that
you
has
wanted-
also partially
that
been the downside of Overwatch in the competitive scene. Because...
is Blizzard.
Well, yes, but also, for example, the past year, their focus was Overwatch League, right? And so the actual game itself didn't get as many quality and feature updates as it could have, right? One of the things that, for example, they started because of Overwatch League was colorblind options, only because they added the ability for each team to have custom colors as their team colors.
So they needed colorblind options to make sure that if people picked stupid colors, you could still figure out what was going on.
To some extent, yeah, but so in Overwatch League, they changed the colors because people were having trouble, as every fight was red versus blue, and every regular player is used to seeing red versus blue, you were running into the issue where people were confused about which team was which. Because from each of their perspectives, they would end up being blue, right? So now in competitive Overwatch, you basically have an away team, which is usually a white skin with a specific color as their accents, and the other team, which is usually a solid color, like, if I were to pull up the Overwatch League screen right now, Boston Uprising has, you know, dark blue and yellow, or Philadelphia Fusion is all orange, right, with some white accents. There's no donate button, and I've chosen not
It does feel
to
weird that you
sign
had
up
to
as an
had
affiliate
to wait till
because
competitive
it's
to
not
add
my goal with
colorblind
streaming.
options, though.
But I appreciate it all the same. Sorry, what was that?
It does feel weird that they've had to wait for it to be an issue in competitive before they could actually add colorblind options, though.
Well, like, they did have basic colorblind options, which are basically overlay filters. But everyone constantly complained about them being very crap colorblind options. So the filters are still in there, but people always considered them to be not good enough to be proper colorblind options. So they added, eventually, the ability for us to pick, you know, individual colors for each team. But we can't change it for our group. So the confusion I had was I wanted to make my teammates green. But now, friendly and group look almost identical, so it's hard to... Like, if I'm playing with friends, it's a lot harder to go, okay, I want to stay near my friends, because then I have to read the names rather than go based on colors.
Are you colorblind?
No, I just wanted to change up the colors a bit. For example, when I used to play Red Alert a lot, my team color was always red. However, in Overwatch, the enemy team color is red. And so by flipping those colors, it was confusing as hell to me when I played a couple games, so I had to switch it back. Because I kept accidentally shooting my teammates, which doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Because in a game like this, you have to go based on colors very quick. Whereas in a game like any Command and Conquer game, like Red Alert, you can pace yourself. And you get used to seeing those colors.
I just want to say, on the topic of the sports discussion, though, I personally would still classify an esports as sport.
Yes.
The whole point of
It's a subcategory of sport.
The reason for me making that potential distinction is because like, what would be the not the compromise definition, but like if you were because the definition of sport is consistently so vague that there is no definition. Like if you tried, I was like trying to like, how could you define it in such a way where it is not vague? Like something is either a sport or it isn't a sport.
The other thought that I had about, you know, ownership of a game to become a sport to some extent is the issue would be video games don't stick around as long as other types of games do, because they're limited, you know, say by console or by whatever platform they're on. And so whereas Void of Vision mentions that I'm sure traditional sports were owned by someone at one point in time, because video games don't have, you know, an infinite shelf life, basically, because the owner of the game maintains it to some extent, it's a lot harder for an esport to become no longer owned by someone.
Okay, like for instance, what about could a game that doesn't run on Windows 10 ever be an esport? Okay, assuming it was a PC game, I should say, because a console game could still work, but
I don't know.
If a
I would
PC
say
game could not
whatever.
run on Windows 10, would it be an esport?
I think for an esport to be, you know, big, it would have to be platform agnostic. It couldn't exclude anyone.
It also, because the issue is also barrier to entry.
Yeah. Because, like, I'm thinking, okay, CSGO, for example, has been around for a few years, and it's, as of this year, is now free to play. What if the next stage, for example, would be it going open source, right? Which then allows anyone to build their own client and server.
And potentially make sure it works on future platforms.
And therefore, Valve no longer directly own it.
Okay, they'd also have to rescind their right to a trademark, though.
Yes. But I'm just
to
speaking
remove
theoretically here, right? What would it take
like,
for a
under
game
that
like
definition,
CSGO?
Would it reach the... Under the definition I proposed, would that reach the point of being a sport? Enough of a sport?
Exactly.
I would
to
say
be more
yes.
than just an esport that's owned by Valve.
So would that mean that basically, under that definition, only open source, non-trademark owned games could ever be true sports?
I think so.
But there is also like things like you could still have trademarks, because like FIFA is obviously a trademark. That's because they're a particular body within that, and then they have their own tournament and their own rules.
Yes, but
But
you
no,
also
but they don't
couldn't
own
make your own FIFA, right?
But you can make your own soccer.
Exactly.
So like, could it be the case that you cannot make your own Counter-Strike?
But you can make your own generic
Also, you
shooter,
couldn't make
which
your
is
own
what
global
everyone
offensive. How about this? You couldn't make your own global offensive, but you could make your own Counter-Strike.
That is a good way of putting it. Hmm.
I would be happy with that, but I'm not the person who needs to be convinced.
Yeah.
This is purely just like in the hypothetical realm.
Yeah. In the I'm dead theoretical realm.
This will restore you. Surrender to my will.
That is a point, though. Are which would you say? Would you agree that? I remember my dad mentioning that he said that the point where esports will be like commonly accepted as proper sports will be the point where they start doing things like drug testing before games. And I was just thinking, like, but that isn't really the major concern with a video game, because hacking and technical issues are the more major points of where there is tampering or issues going on.
Yeah, that is the downside. It's possible to manipulate the rules of an esport without it being immediately obvious. But actually, the same can be said for regular sports, right? People taking drugs or whatever it might be.
You can modify a ball.
You can modify a ball, yeah. I think esports will become more and more mainstream as we just move on to the next generation of, you know, adults that follow games. I think that's what it'll take for it to properly become mainstream. Because even now, like, there is a free-to-air channel in Australia that was showing Rocket League,
Universal Open?
Last week. Probably. I don't know. I wasn't following it.
Universal Open was on NBC Sports. Because that was run by NBC Universal.
Hmm.
And so the Universal Open has been on NBC Sports as an official sports broadcast.
Well, I've also seen the Overwatch League, I think it was, at the time, like a year ago, on free-to-air TV in Australia.
Victory pose. Oh,
I know, right?
What is that screen called?
That is the... People just call it the play of the game. Oh, actually, no, hang on. What is it called? That you've got the victory pose and you've got the highlight intro. Yeah, highlight intro is the term.
That was a great highlight intro.
Yeah. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's mainstream yet, but it's definitely reaching the point where bigger, you know, old media companies are showing esports
Didn't
matches.
ESPN show an esports event at one point?
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, their owner said that esports would never be sports or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that things haven't changed. I'm just saying, like, it's still fighting a battle for
Oh yeah,
mainstream
it's
acceptance.
going to be a battle for many years, and I think there are even people, you know, our age who do not consider esports a sport because.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was talking about Corona.
Yes,
when I was
but
mentioning.
the reason for that is different for each person. Like, there isn't one specific thing that everyone goes, that's why it's not a sport.
Okay, I didn't actually technically say the full definition. I just mentioned the distinguishing factor between, like, that I came up with my alternate definition. Because the full definition includes, like, it has to be a competitive... you have to be able to prove that it's... Well, A, you have to say it's a game. But also, B, you have to prove that it's competitive. And then you have to
I think it's
prove
very
that
hard for a person to
prove that
not
it's
find
skill-based.
most games competitive to some extent.
No, but the other thing, you have to prove that it's a game, you have to prove that it's competitive, and you have to prove that it is skill-based.
Yes.
If you've done that, then then it becomes a matter of, okay, what would you... Does it become a sport when you can prove that, or does it become a sport once there are organized... only once there is organized play surrounding it? Like professional play. Does it require the existence of professionals? Is the question.
That is a good question.
Can something be a sport without professionals? Because like, or like even with traditional sports, like physical sports, like if
Void,
you
I
invented a new
can't say
physical
I've
game,
watched Black Mirror myself
is
yet.
it a game or is it a
so
sport, or does it only
I
become
haven't
a sport
watched any
if
new
it
episodes,
starts
let
with
alone the
professionals?
first.
That's not even an esports question. That's just a general sports question.
I would
comes to
say.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that.
I almost feel like that's a chicken and egg problem. That you're
Like,
more
you
likely to
can't
see
say that-
professionals if people see it as a sport, but people will also see it more as a sport if it has professional.
But there's also another issue, which is it a sport only at the point when it has professionals, or is professionals just proof that it's a sport? And it was
I
always a
think
sport?
the latter, because I doubt chess started as being.
I almost hit May off.
Well, actually, would chess be a good example of something that might start off as a sport, or something that develops to be a sport?
But like say soccer was invented today, like right this instant.
Well,
In
okay,
50
well,
years
how...
from now,
Okay, hang on. We
professionals
can
will
actually
start.
use a very similar example that is realistic. Quidditch as it is outside of Harry Potter. The way people play it at universities and stuff.
Systems online.
I
Is
actually don't know
Quidditch
how you
a
play real life
sport?
Quidditch.
Neither do I. I don't know the rules for it. But there are people
I mean,
who...
I've never seen a Harry Potter film or read a Harry Potter book, so that doesn't.
Wow. Well, there's your first problem.
I wouldn't really necessarily call it a problem.
Wow.
Clearing the area.
I'm not required to engage in pop culture.
I guess that's one way to put it. Ah, yeah,
I
Void
mean, I'm not
Division.
gonna say I won't. I'm not gonna.
That's
be like,
right, I did
so,
hear
like,
about
popular,
that.
Therefore, I'm not gonna watch
But
it.
you
It's
can
just like, I'm
also
not obligated.
watch Minecraft Story Mode as a choose-your-own-adventure on Netflix right now. The problem is the Windows 10 Netflix app doesn't support
I'm
that.
under no obligations.
Is poker a sport? Asks Void Division.
I would say so.
I would
Under
too.
all, I think under all definitions that I could come up with for sport, it would include poker. Because it has
Yeah.
professionals, it's definitely competitive, it's definitely skill-based, even because like, yes, there is luck involved, but like
But that's the case with
whole thing
anything,
is
right?
Better players will perform better on average, and therefore will win in the long term.
Yeah. My aim is so bad. It's very hard to listen to you and focus on this game at the same time.
Sorry, this is what it's like playing with me. I just get into completely unrelated discussions.
Oh, I think it's a very related discussion. People... Void Division asks, is car racing a sport? Well, Xbox defines it as a sport. It's under
I would say
the
so, yeah.
the sports category. Like, if you look at my Xbox in review, all I've played this year is Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 4, and Forza Horizon 2, and all three of those are classified as a sport.
Oh, after this game, I should pull up.
That Tracer was focusing me hard.
I managed, along with coming up with that definition of the sport. Around the same time, I also came up with a definition for
Systems
competitive,
online.
in order to be able to like prove, like, okay, is it competitive? Is it not? Is it not? Like a specific set of criteria, and it was I used that criteria to prove that curling was a sport. So I was like, if it fits these criteria, then it must be competitive, and if it's competitive, then it must be a sport. So I forget what the exact criteria was because it's been like half a year.
Oh yeah, Void Division. There will definitely be cringeworthy articles on esports, but that's just because it's so new and a lot of people don't understand it, and one of the reasons why we're having this discussion in the first place, right? You will always have, you know, cringeworthy articles on topics that people either don't fully understand or the definition hasn't fully been, you know, determined.
Or they're just passionate about. While passion is great, people who are passionate about stuff can also get very.
Oh yes, but that yeah, this is true. Okay, I got the Ana, but that's not gonna save us.
Save yourselves. Although saving the payload will also be good too.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
okay, I'm gonna save myself. I'm saving myself.
I'll pull us out of queue. While you do that, I'll actually be right back.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find my competitive definition. When did I say I need healing? Let's see if I can find it. Yes, scroll up. Because I found the rough point where I mentioned talking about it. Where was it?
Kink is not happy that you keep avoiding them.
I know. I found the point where I proved it, but I need to come up with the exact criteria I mentioned. I need to find where I mentioned them.
Also, in terms of, you asked about when you asked for healing, you probably accidentally hit X.
Oh, right. Oh yes, I was talking about. Okay, it wasn't the reason the point where I came up with the proof that curling was competitive was also me mentioning how betting in and of itself is an interesting mechanic and can make most things strategic.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of my one of the things I mentioned that had to be done. One of the criteria had to be skill based, and one of the skills is strategy. And pretty much just adding betting in and of itself can actually just make most things strategic, because betting is actually a very strategic thing.
Yeah.
Tron TTP, thanks for that follow. So I'm trying to still find it though. Oh,
I'm
right,
only
okay.
missing 2 things for this event. At least purples.
What I had to I can't. Okay, so the thing that I came up with the definition to prove that something was strategic was that it had to have incentives and weighting. You had to have an incentive to perform a certain types of players or make certain decisions, and the benefit or the which choice is best at a given moment has to have some sort of weighting applied to it. So, like in the context of curling, I mentioned, when you're trying to figure out, like, you know how curling works, you have to try and get close to the center, but also try and hit your opponents out of the way. I was saying, like, at each point you have to decide whether you want to play defensive or offensive, or you have to just try, like, which one do you want to hit them out of the way, or do you just want to approach the center? Would you rather just build up a wall of your own pieces so that they can't score or whatever? You have decisions that are open to you. Each one has the different incentive because it provides a different result in the end of it, and there is some sort of weighting applied to it, because which decision you choose will affect what the other person will choose. And each one will have some sort of different effect on the outcome. because those two things are true, therefore it is strategic, therefore it is competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Also, Kinka, that's the cool thing about definitions. They do adapt and change over time.
So like that's an example of like proving like, okay, curling is competitive because you can prove it is strategic because there are multiple decisions you can make which have their own incentives and are weighted based on the current state of play and potential outcomes and opponents play. You have to consider that, therefore strategic, therefore competitive. Works its way forward and backwards. And so that's an example of being able to look at a game and being able to prove, is it competitive? And like that was what I said to be like, that's the first criteria for a sport. Like if it doesn't meet that, it's not a sport. Like that, I think everyone could agree if you can't prove it's competitive, it's not a sport.
True.
Because here, okay. But then it comes to a question: what happens if a game isn't inherently competitive, but people like make it like? What if there was a tournament where it was like, who can complete solitaire the fastest? Because solitaire isn't inherently competitive. But you can make it competitive.
I will protect the innocent.
Does that mean that a timed version of solitaire would be a sport? Or at least competitive? I mean, it would be competitive. If we were to say that was the only criteria. Sorry, I'm just...
That is a good question, and I will have to think on it.
I'm just throwing out a whole lot of stuff because I love having this conversation repeatedly because it's one that never fully finishes.
No, and I don't think it should. And I think the conversation will change over time.
It is also a case that, like, a word doesn't need to have a strict definition, really.
No.
It's helpful when it comes to classifying stuff, but in a lot of cases, the reason why we have the definitions we have is just people trying to justify their own gut feelings on a topic. People have a gut feeling that
I'm dead.
esports shouldn't be some have a gut feeling that esports shouldn't be a sport, and so they might try and come up with a definition specifically to prove that. Well, now we have a rigid definition, and see, it's not a sport. Sort of like what I did.
Much better.
So people, in a lot of ways, the whole discussion is also just people trying to rigidly define their own gut feeling, which is going to be subject to all sorts of bias and differing opinions. There's nothing about this conversation I don't find fascinating. Sorry. I spring this one up too many times.
I'm so screwed! Because they're all going to respawn right there.
One benefit of me streaming a crap ton of competitive Rocket League, or just a crap ton of it in general, as I've gotten used to being able to focus and play on a game and still play it properly while talking about completely unrelated stuff.
I don't know. We're losing this game pretty heavily. I think it's
I'm still playing and focusing on it.
I suppose.
I'm still playing. I'm still making the same sort of decisions I would make anyway. I'm just happening to be talking about other stuff at the same time.
Ow, that hurt. Oh god.
Thank you.
Life is pain.
Why were you shooting at me?
I was doing nothing like that.
Yes, you were. You were shooting at me across the gap, and like I wasn't.
Oh, it was so that I wouldn't accidentally kill myself because the wall was right next to me. Ash gets it.
them a hole.
This Moira's gonna kill me just because she can.
Okay, we defended that stop of the objective.
Yep, we just have to hold it for another 5 minutes.
What Ash said. He said he could play in chat. He didn't say he
I
could
will
play
not
well
waste
in
this
chat.
opportunity.
I mean, I didn't say that, but... No, but, what was the thing I was gonna say now? Got that.
Oh, I thought I could get out of there. Haha.
Because this. I feel as though this mode is just like very difficult to play defense on.
Yes. Yes, it is. But at the same time, this second objective on this map is also very hard to attack.
Clearing the area.
It's alright, I got one of their tanks.
Haven't had enough.
Back online. This is not your time. Move back.
Valkyrie is ready.
Life is pain.
Target eliminated. Your support.
Okay, we are defending this one pretty well, actually. Yeah. Oh, there's a bottom floor. That was a hole. Is this Hanzo's map?
Yes.
I remember the name.
Okay, they're all coming around the top left. I'm dead. So
that.
dead. There's a good ult by our Zen. Don't know if it's gonna be enough.
Into the fray. Move back. Kill confirmed.
No, it's just their healer on point.
Heroes never
Okay.
die.
Oh, we just salvaged that one in time.
Yep.
Assistance would be appreciated. See through the
Now you just need to work on getting your mech
I
back.
will not waste this opportunity.
Or getting myself killed.
I can help with that.
I would rather you didn't, but I don't think you could actually. Because team kills aren't active, I don't think. Is there an option for friendly fire in this game?
I don't believe so. Not even in custom games.
Clearing the area.
I guess it's just like, that's like the ultimate measure to prevent griefing, is just like, don't make it so you can screw over your teammates intentionally.
Yeah.
Or at least limit the ways that you can. I did get my suit back.
Oh. Oh, I'm being revived.
This is not the end.
Success.
I'm back.
There is someone in here. I got them, though.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
the enemy is here.
Nope, she's being healed. Run!
I did run. Oh, 20 seconds, we can do this.
There are 2 shields there. This Moira's just killing time. Ugh.
There we go.
Oh, after that first point, I was worried we weren't going to win that.
Play of the game.
Is that an out team?
Nope. I don't think so. Yo Yoga. Yeah, that was their Bastion.
Hey,
Nice.
I got a card! Are you allowed to commend yourself?
Yes.
Kill streak 17 eliminations!
That's pretty good.
Wait, how did I not get gold for it?
I got 27 eliminations.
Oh, it's not in a row, the card. Wait, did I not die that game?
Maybe.
Or did I not die after I started killing people?
Probably the latter.
That's... I'm quite happy with that.
That's how it should be.
I'm happy with that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I can play games and focus on them, but still talk about other things. I've gotten one can only stream for longer than 12 hours each time for so long before they eventually learn that skill.
Yep. Kinka, what would have happened is... everyone died on the first point, so after that original death, every kill would have occurred.
Oh, no man. Yeah, I didn't die after all my
Now entering the
kills, because
prepare to attack.
I had a lot of kills in a row at one point.
Yeah.
I had like 5 right after each other at one point. How does one play Doom first?
Very carefully.
So no. Maybe I should try being... Oh, there's no tank. Oh, fine.
Practicing D.Va is good anyway.
What?
Practicing D.Va is a good thing to do anyway.
I will protect the innocent.
So, 43 minutes ago, someone tweeted, "Is switching from OBS Studio to Slobs worth it?" And the poll results are interesting.
Attack commences in
What are
30
they?
seconds.
Feels good to be home.
Let this
I'm
load.
curious to... Sorry?
It's being laggy on me. Come on, load the poll. Yes, do it, 69%. Nope, 31%. And that's
Nice.
on 62 votes.
5, 4, 3,
Billow, welcome to the
So
stream.
69% say switch from OBS to Slobs or from Slobs to OBS?
Yeah. The first one.
Which way? Oh, okay. Darn.
I was expecting the number to be higher, that's all.
Alright. I mean, it's not a bad number, actually, all things considered.
Health restore.
Especially because... Okay. The benefit that Slobs has is that people who don't necessarily even do that much streaming are more likely to recommend it.
Yes. Or the people that don't
It's easier to
fully
recommend
understand
as an
streaming.
outside.
Yes. That would be a good way to put it.
I feel as though, in general, regular streamers, people who stream for a while, are still sticking with regular OBS on the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part is the key word there.
Back in action.
At one point I was looking at switching my donations from Streamlabs over to Coffee.
Oh yeah.
Coffee, whatever. But I realized I'd have to run custom alerts and I'd have to use their API but I did look at that, but I never actually finished that. I still intend to.
Fair enough.
Raptora systems online.
So I basically want to stay as far away from stream specific providers as much as possible. Like, no offense to what Colin does with Muxie, even though it's less on the user focused stuff nowadays. No offense to what he does, but I would still rather not.
Yeah. For Division, I have not been to Europe, but my parents are... Well, actually, let's put it this way. The last time I was in Europe was when I was 5. Because my parents grew up in Poland, and all of my family is in Poland.
Right,
But I've been to the US twice now.
I've never been to Europe or the US. I've been to Australia, you know that.
Yes. I have not been to New Zealand.
Although I've only 2 other... that was, the time we met up was the second time I've been to Australia.
Fair enough.
The previous time was in Brisbane, Gold Coast area.
I've been to the Gold Coast once.
That was because of my brother's... one of my brother's friends had a wedding. And they're kind of family friends, so we all go to the wedding. It was in Brisbane.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like, let's make a thing out of it and let's go to Gold Coast. Oh hey, we got an objective.
Yeah, we got the first one. The second one, we all kind of just died as we went in.
I was paying attention on the game, but I wasn't paying attention on our progress for an objective, I should say.
Really? Because there are both audio and visual cues of capturing objectives. Pretty big ones too.
I was too focused on the game itself, like just the regular shooting. I was too focused on the. I was too focused on the explodies.
Ah yes, there's a lot of those this match.
Explodies, yeah. I have my ultimate, but I haven't had a good chance to use it.
This will protect us.
Yeah, me neither. I used it to kill the Widow because she was pissing me off.
Don't mess
Yeah.
with my family. I am in power.
It's too bad my aim's crap. Otherwise I'd be able to kill this far. Oh no, the Widow came back. Yeah, no kidding, for Division. And it's not a good indicator of how much Blizzard cares about, each of their games and esports in general.
Dang it.
Like, yeah, it might mean that they'll continue focusing on Overwatch, but for how long? Right?
See, that's another issue with esports, is that a company losing interest in it or killing it can just end an entire competitive scene in a moment.
Thanks for the assist.
Partly.
A company can kill a sport.
Well, hang on. Here's the benefit, though. Because HOTS is going to have less updates, that also means that the rules of the game won't change as much, and so a competitive scene would work better. The problem...
Okay, but what happens if
the problem is Blizzard themselves aren't the ones, you know, facilitating the esports scene anymore. Yeah.
Well, okay, but then alternative, what happens if a game-breaking bug is discovered? What do they do? It can't be fixed unless people make their own client.
That's a good question. I wonder, because Overwatch has like a... There are different rings or, like, you know, tiers of the game, right? You do have the tournament version, right, or the professional version. You've got the live version, and you've got the PTR, which is the testing ground,
Public
right?
test release.
My
Yes.
team needs
I wonder if they are going to whether HOTS had a professional, tier of it that they updated less frequently. That would be my first question. And two, if it does have that, are they going to continue maintaining that version even if they're not, doing the esports stuff themselves?
Well, given that people are losing their job, probably not. The maintaining part, at least. Like,
Yeah.
even if it does exist, the maintenance part is probably unlikely.
Well, Overwatch competitive works that same way. Void Division. There is, so I think it's a very good way of doing it. The problem is, will it get maintained?
Yeah. If someone discovers a game-breaking bug, which means if a company loses interest in maintaining a game, someone discovers a game-breaking bug and they can win a game in a few seconds or instantly without having to try, then that sport is done.
Yes.
30 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
That 100% Void Division.
Out of time. Everyone, attack now. Move back.
And I would argue that
Rains from above.
is one of the major things that prevents. That would be a legitimate concern for considering esports. Like, that's one of the things where I think that's a fully legitimate concern.
Yeah. Whereas sports don't need someone to maintain them.
Yeah. Well, they need people to oversee the tournaments and the tournament rules in case of, like, if a player realizes, hey, this specific thing is not explicitly disallowed by the rules, and so they have to enforce rule changes to keep things fair. So, like, you need people to oversee the tournament side of things, but you don't need people to oversee, like, the existence of a game.
Yeah.
Mistletoe victory pose for Mercy.
I think that's from last year.
And oh, I have no, I did not mean to equip that icon. Dang it! I keep hitting that button. Player icon.
Yeah, Void Division, there were a lot of
Sir.
people that really enjoyed HOTS, and there's a reason it had a relatively thriving competitive scene. I personally didn't enjoy it, and when, Blizzard basically forced Overwatch players to try it to be able to get D.Va, that D.Va skin, I tried it, but didn't enjoy it. But I just don't enjoy those kinds of games in general.
Prepare your defenses.
I'm just
Select
not
your hero.
a fan of MOBAs. Like, I played quite a lot of Dota from Warcraft 3 with my brother and online.
Well, there's a
That
level
was-
6 on the enemy team.
That's because that was, that was back when Dota was Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
I'm actually really considering getting the Warcraft 3
I will protect the innocent.
remaster thing. I'm really considering it.
The destruction caused by the Omnic team. It removed
If I go down there, I'll die, right?
Yes.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I never got into any of the Warcraft games. Growing up, I played Age of Empires,
Age of Empires, great.
Red Alert. So I played Red Alert 1, 2, and 3. Other than that, I didn't really play a lot of games when I was younger. A few of the Need for Speeds,
played-
right? Need for Speed Underground 2 was a big one for me. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit
played,
2, the original, that one was a big one for me.
I can tell you the first console game I ever played.
Oh, and The Sims at this
Jack
point.
2.
Really?
First, yeah, because my brother got a PlayStation 2 for his birthday one year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still the only console I've ever owned. Is PlayStation 2's. This year I rebought a PlayStation 2 to replace my previous one that broke, and I've not had any interest in getting any newer consoles.
Yeah. My neighbor had a Nintendo 64, so I played a fair bit of Mario Kart 64 with him.
Oh, dang it.
The
Hey,
May
look.
wouldn't die.
Yeah,
I didn't own a PlayStation at all. I
Okay. Sorry.
owned a 360 as of like 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
I will not fail again.
What?
Objective.
There it is. Okay.
Defense point.
I've, as a kid, played a lot of cheap PC games.
Hmm.
Or games which were like resold from a while back. So I played Myst as a kid. Despite, you know, Myst being quite old even when I was a kid. I played Curse of Monkey Island. It's like those like the two completely opposite kinds of adventure game. Like on one hand, Myst, on the other hand, Curse of Monkey Island.
Back in action.
I played Age of Empires 2. I played. I keep mentioning this game, and no one I know has ever actually played this game whenever I've asked. Do you know the game Majesty the Fantasy Kingdom Sim?
No, never heard of it.
No one I know seems to have heard of it. And it's a game where it's like, what if you were the king of a
Hello, I like
fantasy
cheese.
world kingdom?
Welcome to the stream. Hope your day's going well.
And it was like a top-down game where you play sort of like an RTS, but you didn't control anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You like
And
you
yes,
would- you
for
could
Division, I've
there
played
could
a
be
fair bit of Sea of
knights, there could be
Thieves.
rogues, there
I
could
don't
be
own
rangers,
it,
there could be
though.
all these people that were in the world, much like you would like if in a fantasy world you'd expect them, and you could make sure they existed.
might
In
stream
order to
it.
make them do anything, you had to put bounties on stuff. So like,
Aha.
if you wanted to explore, if you wanted to be able to see into how the map looked, you needed to place bounties on people to explore the Fog of War. Or if you wanted to have
So you were entirely
something be
dependent on
killed-
the AI, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. In some ways it sucked, in other ways it was great.
I wouldn't want to be dependent on AI in any game.
No, but here's the thing, it's actually very clever in terms of the strategic thing, or like how you play it, because in some, like, think about this. Every time you make a new character or hero from one of the buildings, you, that person starts at level 1. They level up by taking on monsters. Monsters only get attacked if you put bounties on them. But if you put a bounty on a monster, there's going to be a lot of your heroes who go in there and die. How do you make it so that you get heroes who are leveling up and not dying? You have to be very careful about what you do and don't do, and what you do and don't put bounties on. And you also
Yeah.
have to be doing tax collecting throughout the whole thing and making villages and all that in order to be able to actually fund your bounties. And if your kingdom doesn't like you, they're not going to do anything for you
Science will
regardless.
reveal the truth.
That sounds unpleasant.
Get into position.
It's okay. I'm not saying it's an amazing game. I'm not saying it deserves to be remembered or anything like that. I'm just surprised I've never seen anyone who remembers that game.
Pass into the iris.
What was the name of the game? Majesty the Fantasy Kingdom Sim. And, like, it's a very hard game, so I'm not gonna say it's a game that people should play. Although I will note that I have the CD for it still, and it works on Windows 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, I got frozen. I think you've heard of it now, played it, yeah. Yeah, so like, yeah. My point though is that even though it's very
That required a lot of focus.
A lot to it. I think it's an interesting game that I haven't seen it tried anywhere else. It's a mix between a sim and a set in a fantasy world, where you're still juggling all the same sort of numbers around. You're trying to keep everyone happy while still progressing. So it's like it is a sim, but at the same time, it's set in this fantasy world, and you are still like trying to have fantasy things be completed, but you don't have direct control unless you get mage towers and you put research towards that, and then you get some spells that you can use directly. So that's it. Everything else is done by proxy, and you have to try and fund that happening. It's very interesting, even if it kind of is. It kind of makes you hate it if you actually play it.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, I'm somewhat disappointed that no one remembers it or knows of it. So I think it's something that.
To be fair, how many games get released every single year?
True, but it's like it's still like I think it is a tragedy when an interesting game doesn't get to be
Absolutely.
remembered. Even if it's not a good game, if it's at least interesting.
I have never seen a Bob die that fast. Like, yeah, I've seen them die quickly, but he got wrecked.
I turreted in his head. I was turret and straight to the edge.
Oh, I recognize that name. Thanks for the follow there, Lensani.
Oh hey, it's Fenrir.
Yeah.
He followed
your
me
day's
for the
going
first time
well.
yesterday. Or was it the day before, or was it on Tuesday? One of the two. He followed me for the first time. He's
This
catching
poor
up.
Ryan. Run!
Oh, dang it. I still have. I would not want to play Majesty again if I could help it. Like, I installed it to check that it would work on Windows 10, but I have no interest in actually playing it again. Other than for one Easter egg, which is great, but that's beside the point.
Fenrir, did Jim even recognize your name eventually during that podcast? Because I don't think he knew who you were.
I'm pretty sure Jim just missed it. Because he was only looking at chat for a brief period of time. Near the beginning. Or at least it was the only point where he was answering or acknowledging it.
That's the tricky thing with
Sequel
names.
Majesty 2 in my life. I'm pretty sure that's only on iOS, though, Kinka.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was on a treadmill the entire time for that podcast.
I was at work in meetings, so I watched the VOD later.
Alright. Oh, I thought you were saying that you were listening to it at a meeting and that made me laugh.
No, I was going to watch it, and then that specific point we ended up having a meeting that wasn't originally planned, so...
Right. Yeah. Have you seen the picture I took of my jank treadmill desk?
No, I don't think I have. Did you post it
I posted
anywhere?
it in my Discord and I posted it in OBS Lounge at one point.
Then maybe I saw it and I just don't remember.
Oh, it is on Steam. Okay, okay. Yeah, but it's a piece of
Yeah,
wood.
agreed, Fenrir.
Piece of wood that's had bits cut out
we are
to make it fit into the shape of the treadmill's back, and then partly leaning on it and then partly held up by rope. So it's really cheap, really jank, but it's a treadmill disc.
Yeah,
And
as long as it
put a
does the
laptop
job.
on it. I can put a laptop on it and I can walk and do stuff.
Yeah.
You know that I showed that example with the text for the no sources thing, but that was inside the preview. That was done. That was just written as a test while on that treadmill to be like, hey, can I write code while on this thing?
And so partial
Yes, I
success?
Yeah. But yeah, I spent that entire podcast on that treadmill.
Get in there.
That's good.
But it's purely because the summer, the heat and humidity has basically meant I've had no energy at any given point in time.
Yeah,
So I've
that'll
kinda just
happen.
had to just find some ways to make myself wake up.
Ah.
It was a big problem during, I noted during the Ludum Dare 48 hours, like, the whole, like, I hadn't even been, like, I would wake up immediately and just
didn't
get
realize
tired,
where he
and
was.
It would only be, like, the end of the
Till it
day
was too
that
late.
I'd be, like, feeling like I woke up. So I've had to,
Yeah.
I've been having to, even though it's still hot, still humid, at least the podcast is, I'm listening to it when it happens.
Oh no, you're out of my view, I can't heal you. They're still beating us. Like, we're not gonna cap
Only
this.
possible that was the plan. I'm just not okay. I'm not gonna say he's not. I'm not gonna say he's annoying, but Knackers is one of those people, like, his style of presenting is one I can only take so much of.
Yes. I second that. But overall, to me it felt like, compared to like his stream when he was doing the
Fundraiser.
fundraiser,
Whatever.
I feel like he was not as, you know,
A bit
not
more
as-
subdued this time.
yeah, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Which makes sense for a podcast.
And also
Oh,
because
I'm so dead.
there is an issue though that I was kind of suspecting would happen, and it did happen to some extent. It's like if you get someone like Jim, or you get someone like, well, even like if I was on a podcast, like there comes a point where there's people who just need to, who are intimately familiar with the technical details, who feel like they need to explain the detail
Yeah.
to people listening. Like,
I was actually surprised
Jim
that didn't
didn't-
have to happen as often. And I'm curious if that was just because Knackers kind of moved on quickly because he didn't want to have Jim explain intricacies, or whether, you know, he understood it.
but like, for example, Jim was talking about scripting and then RAII and problems with that and Electron versus native. It's like, that's all stuff that's like, I'm pretty sure most people tune that out.
Yeah, this is true.
And I feel like that is a problem if you get developers who are intimately familiar with something and you're getting them to talk about that thing. We sort of just naturally tend to go into technical details and what everyone cares about. It's just sort of...
I'd love a technical podcast featuring Jim. That'd be awesome.
Oh, hey, that was an easy one.
Yeah. Once we got some momentum, we were able to actually knock him out. Alright, I'm gonna quickly refill my water.
I love how I get shock all out. I don't use the chat. It just keeps happening. I'm not doing anything. I'm just playing the game, ignoring all of y'all. Oh, hey, our entire team got all the cards. Yeah, I should do more. I need to do more OBS dev stuff on stream because it was the one time I've actually had like really decent viewership for whatever reason. Good teammate.
I'd be up for it, Fenrir. Maybe one day.
I still think that maybe it's because I'm inherently somewhat businessy, but it does bug me how that us as the OBS project, like the broader OBS project, not necessarily like just like Jim dodging them, like the broader OBS project people, there could be a lot more done in terms of, I don't want to say public relations because it's not quite the right term, but in terms of, but just like, there could be more done in terms of trying to make a community or facilitate one.
Yeah. I might try Zarya again. That went well.
But every time I've brought up, find me stuff. I mean, like, the thing is, like, every time I've brought up, what if we did this? What if we did that? It's just nothing ever happens, and I think it's the same problem for a lot of us. A lot of us bring up stuff and then nothing happens.
Oh, I mean, it's the same issue I have with 07 Craft, right? Because I'm in charge, I'm the one who should be, you know, keeping the ball rolling. But I just don't have time.
Yeah.
And Jim doesn't have time either.
I've offered to do stuff like, oh yeah, I can do stuff on the Twitter. Oh yeah, I can I could help manage a regular stream thing. Oh yeah, I've offered, but then the thing is, offering to help doesn't really do much if there's not actually anything.
A coordinated effort, yes.
Happening.
Yeah.
I still think that a regular stream thing is something that we could easily do. Even if it's not like doesn't have to be like a podcast, but just like a, hey, OBS people doing a thing. Although arguably if you did just that, it probably wouldn't be that actually, it probably wouldn't have that much an effect on a community building, because it would just be, who are these people, why should I care?
Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
No.
Mercy. There's nothing wrong with X-clicking, okay?
What he said.
I will never surrender.
I'm not a good loser, is that what Diva just said?
Did you just respawn? Yeah, she says it sometimes, I think.
I'm a fine loser. Unless it's, you know, Rocket League and I'm playing solo. Then I'm less fine.
Okay, I don't think Zarya is working for me against this team.
I have 22 health. I'm no longer in the suit, so it doesn't really matter to heal me anymore.
Pretty much. You're also gonna die very quickly.
I know. But I'm getting damage off. I'm not a fan of subscription-based elements. I feel strong this program maybe hashtag the best. I have nothing wrong with subscription-based products. I just pay an Adobe subscription. So.
Well, so yeah, that's the thing. For me, it's I don't mind paying a subscription if I use it enough for it to be worth it.
Like, did you see my in the support chat? Did you see me and Rodney talking about editors and me mentioning Premiere Rush? Or did you not have a chance to look back on that?
I skimmed it, to be honest.
I mean, fair.
Like, I woke up and there were like 200 messages in there about editors, and I was like, eh.
EMP activated.
Okay, but the point I made in that discussion was that if some subscriptions are fixed costs primarily, and fixed costs, generally speaking, are less of a person's spending than variable costs when it comes to if you're going to actually make use of programs. Like,
Yeah.
if I was to get pay a subscription for Adobe and I made 0 videos, then like that's the primary bulk of my cost for video stuff is going into this program I'm not using. But if I'm actually, say, making videos of this, then there are going to be some costs associated with each individual video that's being made, whether it is actual money or time. That's the stuff like that is on a per thing basis that is a cost in some regard. Whereas the subscription is a fixed one that gets spread out based on your output. So if something costs me $10 a month and I make 10 videos, then that's $1 per video. If I only did one video, then it's, you know, $10 per video, which might be a bit much, but that's because I'm not having enough of an output to justify it.
Yes. See, that's the thing. So, for example, I don't mind paying for Netflix because I watch stuff on Netflix at least a couple times a week. I don't feel comfortable paying for Photoshop because I use that once every 3 months. At least subscription-wise, right? If I could buy it outright, yes, I would do that in a heartbeat. Because Photoshop as an application, I see the benefit.
But the thing is, okay,
long term.
Again, the subscription is a fixed cost which gets spread out based on your output, but it also is, but it's simultaneously better for the business who has it because it means that they have a guaranteed amount of income which is going to be happening on a regular basis, and they are able to better predict their financial performance going forward, which means that they can invest more properly and not go bust. So it's good for the business for the subscription side, and if you're a user, then it becomes a fixed cost depending on your output, and that it will all depend on whether or not it makes sense.
Yeah. Photoshop having a subscription
sense.
Absolutely makes sense to me because it's useful on that level for a lot of people, and a lot of people make a living off the stuff that they could make in Photoshop, or modify in Photoshop, or whatever it might be, right? Personally, for me, I'm not going to pay for it.
Subscription is completely worth it. So that's why I'm not against subscriptions. It's like, it makes sense, and in the long term, it's not going to be the bulk of your cost unless you're doing something wrong. Like, if your software subscription is the bulk of your cost, then you need to reconsider how you're going about doing things.
True. Oh no.
Yeah, expert guys, they're cool.
Yep.
The software's cool as well. It's not for me, but so is a lot of things. And I mean, the whole reason I got into OBS
I had no way to escape.
The only reason I got into OBS stuff is I got to make a change to it that I wanted.
I am still in the fight.
Like, personally, I wish I had more of a reason to use OBS professionally. But I'm a web developer.
Whereas I'm a student, so I can afford to be a bit more flexible.
Well, like, at my previous work, when I was working at Appster, an app development company, they had something called Disruptive Startups, which was basically like...
We've had this conversation.
Yeah, and I'm just mainly saying this for the viewers. It was basically a mini conference, right? That was one of the things Appster as a company did on the side, and I would help. So we would stream, you know, the talk onto Facebook and YouTube.
Even though, wait, did they actually have permission to be able to do that?
Yeah.
that because you know Facebook's rules on.
Oh no, at the time I think we started streaming to YouTube first, and then eventually we stopped streaming to YouTube and started streaming on Facebook because of the size of the audience on the two platforms.
Fair enough.
Because nobody was following the Appster YouTube channel.
I mean, I still don't know who Appster are.
Oh, they liquidated 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so they aren't even an R to know.
Correct. Because, you know, making apps is not a... I wouldn't say shouldn't be a primary business.
I'm gonna try Soldier.
And by that I mean mobile apps specifically.
I just realized, I looked back at your chat and realized Void said that Myst is an IFT game, and I'm trying to figure out how is Myst... What's wrong with Myst?
When did this happen?
356.
Science will reveal the truth.
Oh, yeah, that... I don't know. I never
I'm trying
played
to
it, so I
figure out
can't
what's
say.
wrong with Myst!
Can take care of this quietly, is there?
Myst is a perfectly fine game.
Attack.
Revolutionary.
30 seconds.
Let Russia never repeat the mistakes of this country.
Hello. Yeah. So
Allow me to repair the damage.
I did because I used XSplit before I used OBS.
I think I used Fraps before OB.
Okay. I did too. But I meant of like the streaming softwares. Of the streaming softwares, I used XSplit before I used OBS. But it was the free version which had the crappy AAC settings and the watermark.
That Genji was really after you there. It's alright, I avenged your death.
Okay, is there a way to make left shift on Soldier hold down and not toggle?
Good question. You might be able to. You'd have to check the settings. So if you go to settings, controls, and then there's a drop down on the top right where you can do hero specific settings, there might be an option to do that.
Because I hate toggle sprints in games. I much prefer just being able to hold the button and while it's held, I sprint.
Welcome to Junkertown.
I didn't realize it was toggle by default.
I require assistance.
Yeah, it is toggle. Left shift toggle.
Oh yeah, I used Camtasia a couple times for like tutorial videos. Mainly because it followed your mouse. And that was a good way to kind of shift focus.
Oh, I tried to get out of the way, but then... Yeah, I've used Camtasia before.
Your power is
But as I said, of the streaming ones,
Yeah.
it was...
Streaming is a whole different beast.
I was a very early adopter of OBS at the time, multi-platform. Like, I think I ran the first version of OBS multi-platform before it was a Windows release.
Oh, I think I did too at some stage.
And I found it way nicer than Classic. Well, it wasn't called Classic then, but...
I definitely used Classic at some stage.
Oh, I've used Classic as well.
There was a flaw in my approach.
I used Classic well before multi-platform, but I remember I definitely used an early version of multi-platform. I actually have a screenshot that I could pull up, which has which shows me using an early version of multi-platform. think you use OBS on multiple platforms? Yeah, I'm not surprised because I did too. I'm just mentioning that I was an early adopter of multi-platform before it was even really like the focus. Like, well, I should say like when it was still being initially developed and hadn't reached anywhere close to version parity.
It's still
But
not
it was
technically,
so much nicer.
you know, at the point where it has feature parity. There are still a few things missing.
Chaz?
There was one that someone was asking for in the Discord today, which is
What is the
region.
Super Soldier?
Oh jeez.
What is Soldier Super?
Oh, what's the term for it? You don't have to aim. Aimbot.
Oh, right.
That poor Genji.
Look, I could pull up a screenshot which has me and it has a very early version of OBS multi-platform in it. I actually think that the OBS multi-platform's like original UI looked better than it started. But that was also because it was way simpler. Did you ever use it when it was still called platform, multi-platform? Oh, I mistimed.
Oh yeah,
I shouldn't have used
absolutely.
my
Well, I mean, I say absolutely. I absolutely had it installed. Whether I used it is another story.
There was a point where the GitHub page for multi-platforms had images still, and those images were of the Mac version, because I think multi-platform was primarily developed on Mac.
Well, that was the whole point, right?
But I think there was even a point initially on where, like, for multi-platform, the only release for multi-platform was a Mac version, and then it became, in a Windows build, became actually second.
That makes sense.
If I remember the order of events correctly, that is.
Oh, the Torb got me.
I'd have to look at the version history of Studio and see if I can find reference to that. Yeah, the whole reason I started using OBS initially was not what just as a user, was because I had some plugins to do specific things like read from IRC or the CLR browser doing cool stuff, style sheets and stuff.
I'd say the thing
So that's
that
why
took the longest for me to learn in terms of OBS in general was figuring out which encoder to use. Because once I started using NVENC, it solved all my problems, right?
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science.
Yeah, definitely no problems of NVENC ever.
Oh, did I tell you the issue I had when I was trying to stream VR the other day?
This will improve
What?
When I hit
Well, the answer is
start
no,
streaming,
go on.
I got an alert. It gave me a pop-up saying that the encoder failed to load because it was out of memory.
Right.
But it was actually streaming just fine.
Right.
dead yet.
So the recording
So did you-
failed,
were you
the
streaming
replay
and not
buffer
realize
failed,
it?
but the stream was working. No, I literally hit start streaming, it showed me the error, I was like, but the counter is still running and everything. So I loaded up the stream, and lo and behold, it's definitely running. So I'm like, okay, OBS told me it wasn't working, but it's now saying it's working. I'll just leave it. I'm not sure why it was doing that, but...
Surrender to my will.
And that was like last week, so... I think that Genji has regrets.
Dang it!
I heard
Right
that.
as I use, second time I use super and then immediately get killed.
Yep. That's how it goes. You have to do it from areas where people won't get you. And that diva followed you right in the moment you ulted.
Yeah, it was like instant switch from
Surrender to my will.
to like focus.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Okay, we're making progress in again. I'm dead. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, the reason I use the whole reason, I think it's funny, the whole reason I switched to multi-platform was not because it was better than classic. I just thought it looked nicer.
And now it looks even nicer.
I think that the simplicity of the original multi-platform look is better than Studio looks now.
60 seconds.
Yeah. Oh.
Also, the multi-platforms, the original versions had much more white space, whereas like the current version of OBS there's like there's white space, but it's still quite cramped.
It's cramped for sure.
Whereas multi-platform just had like a whole heap of a lot of room to breathe. That's because it just had less.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't trade Studio for the original multi-platform, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because I need those features. It's more just like as far as purely aesthetic.
Turn off.
10 seconds.
We need to get on it. No. We got pretty far. We just didn't manage the last bit.
Play
Yeah.
of the game.
That doesn't look like Zarya at all.
Yeah, that's the barbarian skin. That's the skin I use.
That looks like Brigitte.
There are elements, sure. I don't feel like I actually healed that much.
You healed me a lot. I did awful that game.
I feel like I did too. Let's
Yeah,
re-queue.
pretty much the only reason I'm involved in doing any OBS stuff beyond just as a user, the only reason I do it is because I wanted to add that corner pin filter a while back.
Well, I mean,
Oh, and
I
I
now
needed to
use
fix the
that
bug.
filter on my starting soon AFK and goodbye screens, so...
Yeah, that was written sometime in 2016.
Hmm.
The only reason I got into actually doing OBS proper dev was because I needed to fix a bug.
Yeah.
Did I tell you did I tell you the? Have I told you the bug that got me started doing OBS stuff?
I don't remember.
There was a point in time where someone made it that if you put in an unrecognized command line argument, OBS would exit.
Really?
Immediately.
Which it no longer does because you can pass arguments that go to the browser source.
See, even back then, you could pass arguments to go to the browser source. But the person who added a bunch of other command line arguments also added an extra else condition.
Ah.
Which was if it's unrecognized, it would spit out a message saying unrecognized message.
And not launch.
Unrecognized command. And not launch.
Why?
Additionally, on Windows, which is a Windows quirk, graphical user applications do not output to the console.
Correct.
You could, if you have a console application launch a GUI, it will work. But you can't have a graphical user user application, it directly itself output to the console.
Yeah.
It has to be wrapped if you want it to output.
Which Linux does. It can spit
Which
out
Linux
errors
does.
into a console.
Yeah, anything can output to the console, graphical or otherwise. So if you're on Windows and you had, say, the command line flag / enable GPU, and you were on Windows
Let's shoot for a new
and
high
you found that, hang on, why is my OBS not launching?
Attack.
This wasn't me who was using enable GPU, it was a streamer
You can
friend.
keep up with me?
The good old
someone had
days of
enabled
having
GPU
to
and then
use
they're-
enable GPU.
Yeah, but then their OBS just would not launch, and they could not figure out why until they just got rid of enable GPU, and I had to figure out why. And it was like, hang on, someone added in an exit on command line. flag.
Yeah, you don't do that. Like,
So my very first merged commit in OBS is me removing a few lines of code.
oh god, that hurts.
It is entirely and purely just a commit with -6 lines or something. Like no additions. My very first one is just removing someone else's code. And I've been destroying the program from the inside ever since.
Oh, you know, with memory leaks and stuff.
That aren't my fault. Memory leaks that aren't my fault. Let's be clear.
This Brigitte
Based
won't
on-
die!
Based on the reading of the documentation, the memory should be properly cleared. It isn't. However, based on if you strictly read that, it makes sense, but it's very like the memory should be cleared because it should be clearing out the child widgets, but it doesn't. Not my fault. It's a QT thing.
Bye.
It just so happens that I happen to be the worst offender. It's not my fault. I'm just the worst offender of the bug.
So, it's more so a bug with QT that we can't really do much about.
Okay. It's not that we can't do anything about it, it's that doing something about it is a pain.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You have to manually keep a reference to every Q widget action or whatever it's called.
Which could end up
Every
using
time
more
you have a
memory
custom-
than the leak.
Every time you make a custom widget as an action in the menu, you need to keep a reference to that widget, and you need to, on the exit of that Q menu, clear it. But the thing is, there are multiple places where that happens, and what if you want to have multiple Q item widgets, or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
So, you basically need to keep an additional reference so that it gets cleared when the menu is closed. Because currently what happens is when the menu is closed, it doesn't call the destroy methods. That's the whole bug. That's the whole leak. Destroy is
I killed the
called on
Tracer!
child.
I didn't think I'd manage it.
The children widgets aren't being destroyed by the menu based on a strict interpretation of documentation.
Yeah.
Because like the documentation says all children will be cleared unless there is another reference to them. But technically there is a reference to the widget as a parent to the stuff inside it and a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
30 seconds remaining.
Okay. We're gonna win this bit. Cap the point.
Pick up the pace.
I'm on the point, keeping it captured. Point is ours.
Huzzah.
Commence attack.
Enemy turrets aren't gonna bother us anymore.
Allow me.
Ah, stupid Tracer, get back
I have
here.
an ultimate.
Save it until we're closer to the second objective and not being
I am
tested by Tracer.
But chasing, I should wait for you people to get there.
Okay, save it because we've just lost half the team.
Well, I killed someone.
We'll use my ult and yours on the next run in.
So I should follow you?
Once I've respawned.
I'll wait for you then, because I'm by the exit. There you go, you should be respawning now. Yep, following you. You're faster than me. That's the problem. Tell me when I should use
Oh,
it.
they're really not letting us through.
I'm just using it because I want to get...
Yep, go for it. Oh,
Well, I got rid of that person, and I got revived. Right back into
RIP
the
in
action.
pieces.
Right back in the action, I got revived.
Destroy. Now show them.
Oh, I'm so dead.
Bailing out.
Yep,
Dead,
there goes
sir.
our team. Almost.
Yeah.
이건 사기야. Weapon systems overloaded. Thank you.
Dang it!
Time
Oh
to
no.
use my APM.
This Hanzo's annoying.
Enemy turret ahead.
As
Very.
is this Brigida Tracer combo. They know exactly what they're doing and it hurts. Hmm.
There we go.
Diva re-engaging. Enemy turret ahead.
Ah, I've lost my mech already.
Enemy turret offline.
Just the entire team is dying around me before we're even on the point.
All systems checked out.
So silly.
Enemy turret ahead.
Cease your resistance.
Ejecting.
Their Hanzo is really good. Also, I suck.
It's just their Hanzo's really good. I've been struggling against them too. Our Mercy's gonna die. Called it.
이건 사기야.
The enemy has placed a turret here.
Get through this.
Well, I got some of them.
Hmm.
Bailing out.
I didn't stay long enough to get my ult.
Dang it.
I'll be right back.
Alright. I need to get water anyway.
Alright, then I'll pull us out of the queue.
Okay, be right back.
Play of the game.
Wait, I gotta play the
Ooh.
game?
Ooh. We'll quickly watch this first.
Oh, right at the very end. Right at the very end.
I tried to save
It
you.
includes me dying.
That's one way to be considered best play.
Impeccable.
Yeah, anyway, be right back.
I have returned. Let's check Twitter, see if anything's going on. I still haven't decided what golden weapon I should buy. I've got Brigitte, Diva, Moira, and Tracer. I think that's all of them. Let's check. Tracer, Diva, Moira, Brigitte. In that order. I'm thinking Vara. It's like, let's be honest, that looks pretty cool. Questions. Just not good enough with her. Zarya's golden gun could be cool. Look at that. How many did we get at the end of the season? 750? 500. Put me at 4,000. Right?
I am back.
Welcome back.
I went and got coffee while I was out.
Good thinking.
While I was up and down.
In the meantime, my brother and
game.
dad went out to buy lunch, and my brother decided to leave his computer playing music, so I had to go and turn that off.
Wait, why was he playing it in such a fashion that you could hear it? Or do I just take it for granted that most people in my family don't play music blaringly loud all the time?
Our rooms are right next to each other, so...
True, fair enough.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, my family are always playing things on speakers. I'm just usually not out and about. I'm usually here.
Well,
in this room.
I tend to keep my door shut. But I opened it so that I could leave my bedroom and, you know, could hear this music. And I was like, but no one's home. We don't need this.
The music for this intro is awesome.
A lot of the maps have really good intro songs. Hollywood's definitely one of them.
Yeah. This was gonna mention if we got already.
Together, we are strong.
Some like it bot. Ha! 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 Actually, I want to watch this movie.
What about this one over here? Hero of My Storm.
That looks cool.
With Diva in the middle.
Hannah song.
Yep.
No, but see, the other one had a double bass and a saxophone.
True.
So clearly that's the better film. Obviously. Of course you're playing this character.
Why wouldn't anyone play Diva? She's a lot of fun.
If I unlock the skin, I can make her not pink.
Or you could get the Pink Mercy skin. No, you can't, unfortunately. It was only for charity.
I know of the pink one. But I can't get it. I know that much.
Yeah.
There's no full damage ever in this game, right?
Correct. Yes, I got her!
Eliminated someone.
I have no health, but I got her. Oh no. Oh no!
Oh, I can't stand up here? That's stupid.
Oh.
It's stupid that some of these roofs just push you off if you try to stand.
Yeah. It's based on how high they are and the angle.
Perseverance is the key.
Coalescence is almost ready.
Well, I have my ultimate.
Nah, save it.
Well, I mean, I died.
Yeah.
So I had no real choice there.
The game made the choice for you.
Just like in training. This will heal. Go! Just a scratch. Your best shot. Surrender to my will. Get in there. وليهم قوتك. Ready for battle.
Find their weakness and pray.
Okay, we've got one stop of the. Oh wait, no, we don't.
There we do. Now we've got it. I'm gonna die.
Still have my ultimate.
Yeah, we'll use it on our next
Never
push here.
surrender.
Because I've got mine.
My ultimate is ready.
Tactical eyes are ready for deployment.
Ready for battle.
Coming.
Don't hold back. Go. Огонь по готовности. I am taking the objective. Reinforce.
That'll keep him away.
Oh, it didn't work. What? Sorry? My ultimate didn't really work.
It kept them off the point for a bit, which should help us here.
Which is.
I claim this objective.
I didn't kill anyone.
Oh no, they've got Hammond on the point now.
We still got it.
Yes!
There we go! Hello.
I'll take it.
Moving the payload.
Perseverance is
Clear
the
a
key.
path.
Wait, it's going that way.
Get in there.
Winners stay on the payload.
Ready for battle. Surrender to my will. Don't be shy. وليهم قوتك.
I expect to die. There it is. Hmm.
No one can hide from my sight.
Век живи, век учись.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna. I knew I was gonna die, so I just put Diva right up against the payload and hope it would push.
Good plan.
So I was like, I'm gonna die anyway. Might as well try and do something with it.
That's basically how I play.
Like you're gonna die anyway.
Yep.
Check out his gun.
Dang it. I have the Mistletoe Mercy skin, Tinker. I got it just earlier. Not skin, pose,
Get the
sorry.
payload moving. You're covered.
Pose, skin, same thing.
Oh no. This is why I don't play Zarya. I'm bad.
I am still in the fight. Barriers on me. Barriers activated. Let's keep this moving. Go. I excited the enemy. Your best shot. Don't be shy. Hit me. Barriers on you. Graviton surge is ready. Bring it. Get in there. Barrier activated. Surrender to my will. Огонь по готовности. honesty. Feel the gravity.
Where'd the Ana go? Oh, she's right there.
Barriers on you. Go.
Okay, we're at the point.
Not yet. 4 meters. There we go. Oh,
Take 1 sec. There we go.
there we go.
Checkpoint.
Just a scratch.
Props. But I love this set.
Yeah.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Oh,
Perseverance.
our Doomvis got wrecked.
Get in there. Let's keep this moving. I'm under attack.
I just like how the aliens on this set remind me of Futurama.
They remind me of the what's the monsters from the Treehouse of Horror and stuff.
Dunno.
What makes it- That's what
Oh,
they-
yeah, you're right. Oh no!
Ahead. Use caution.
Perseverance is the key.
Oh, I thought I got out of the way in time.
Neutralize.
No one's pushing the payload.
Get in there. Barrier.
I tried to. But then I died.
Yeah, I
Oh,
noticed.
sorry, my mech died, and then I died later after I already backed off.
Well, we've got 40 seconds to get this done.
I'm at 80%
Just
from
like in
ultimate.
training. My ultimate is almost ready.
Don't tolerate defeat. Get on the attack now.
По готовности.
Ah, damn. Woohoo!
Enemy turret ahead.
Oh. The Torb had to put his lava flow all over the payload.
We won.
We did it though.
Did you see what I was doing when I got out when I my mech suit died?
No. I was too busy
just
dying.
Crouched at the very back of the payload, just like push.
Yep,
like
I
with
do that.
W's,
I
like,
do
just
that so often.
So it's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Push, 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 push.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
And so like I was like, I don't care that I'm in this group. I want to push this.
This will restore you.
Snickerbits.
That's a great name.
Yep.
Hey, love lighting.
My legs are sweating.
You know what I mean? It's that kind of year. I mean, that time of year.
Yep.
Okay, in this menu with this lighting in that position, Hamster Wheel's eyes look dead. They look like just solid black. They look dead.
Yep.
I will protect the innocent.
It is not my preference to see to matters personally, but I will keep it going.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Try not to get yourself.
Alright, here we go.
Move back.
Oh, I love how the hamster wrecking ball, if you're on the walking mode, it has like tiny, very rapid footsteps. I love it. Because of the hamster, it's like even as the big massive thing, still just tiny little footsteps. It's great. It's amazing.
They have a widow. I didn't sign up for this.
You didn't sign up for Overwatch?
No,
Oh, I'm about to die.
getting counted immediately. Okay,
Right.
I got the...
What are you?
I got the Reaper. Farah.
I
Right.
require assistance.
Any long-range character can take out Farah pretty easily.
Systems online.
I wouldn't know.
Get back.
That's why you told me.
Yes.
Thank you.
I share this information to be informative. She got me again.
Raptora systems online.
We are doing well so far.
Clearing the area.
You know what the hamster ball reminds me of? Wrecking ball, whatever he's called. He reminds me of the Omni droid from The Incredibles.
Yes.
Except, you know, not an AI.
Yeah. Oh! I was hoping he wasn't still there.
Oh, I was trying to kill their Mercy, but they ran back and then ran into someone who could kill me.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And then I ran into the other hamster.
Get back.
Hammer.
I'd like to think I helped. But I don't think I actually
Payload
did.
next, right?
I will not fail again.
Objective lost.
Sorry?
The payload.
It's payload next, right?
Yep, now it's payload. Oh, they've got a Farah now too. Problem is, we don't have a good counter for her. Might go Zen. Zen could be fun.
True self is without form.
Gale the Mahal.
Yes! I got her! It killed me to do it, but I got her.
My will made real.
The outcome is not preordained.
Nice. Or I should say knives. Oh no! This Widow is too good.
No one can hide.
Overconfidence is a flimsy shield.
I love that voice line. Overconfidence is a flimsy shield.
Oh. There's a whatchamacallit sucky black tendril towards player character.
You mean Moira?
That one, I think. I don't know their names. I can only go based on what I can observe.
An expedient solution.
Hamster revive.
Made real.
I have my ultimate again.
That's good.
My will. Wrong. Hey.
Someone kill Stripes. Yes.
I did. Well, I helped.
Well, it's a team effort, so... They've got a monkey now. I can't heal you from here. There you go.
How do you know what my health is?
Healers can see teammates through walls with health.
Oh.
Oh my god. That was brutal.
Who?
Everything. So, their Moira altered. Our Reinhardt altered as you did. So he knocked down the Moira to cancel her ult, and you basically blew her up.
30 seconds remaining.
I didn't get a kill though.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice.
Overconfidence is a flimsy shield.
That Junkrat really got me though. Oh, we can almost prevent this checkpoint. Ah, trap.
We did it!
Yes!
Victory.
Bravo!
Pin.
Play of the game.
Okay, so today I learned that's Moira.
Surrender
Yes.
to my will.
So that beam of hers heals and does
Black
damage.
tendril sucky thing.
Yes.
Except in that instance, not black.
It's more of a dark red. Or dark purple, I should say.
Curious what my kill participation is. And you know what your kill participation is?
No
Doesn't look
idea.
like it's one of the stats.
No, it's not. Unfortunately. Man, I am ready for lunch.
I mean, I can have dinner whenever.
Arriving at ease.
Well, as soon as lunch arrives,
Shows
we'll
how
probably
our-
take a break.
Shows how our daily schedules are different.
Mmm.
Because there's only 2 hours different, and yet
Well, it's 3 o'clock and I haven't had lunch yet, so...
you also had a late breakfast.
This is true.
Only through conflict do we evolve.
I'd say I had breakfast at like 1150?
I'm trying Widow again.
Hmm. You ran away.
Well, yeah. I'm a pussy. I fully admit to this. There's
Oh.
danger, I run away. Oh, I killed someone right then!
Ooh, loot box.
I'm opening up a loot box.
Legendary. Oh, okay. Oh, actually, lunch has just arrived.
Okay.
So I might end my stream there. And,
End? Okay.
well, I mean, I will probably go back to playing Overwatch after, but I don't know how long I'll be away for lunch.
Okay. Well, I think I will then play for a little bit and then maybe get dinner at some point. I'll probably still stick with Overwatch for the meantime.
Alrighty, sounds good.
I just need to learn how to play solo without other people's help.
That's fair. I'll leave you to it then. Good luck.
Yep. Have a good lunch.
Thanks.
I have to leave or do you leave? Can you leave?
I'll leave. Bye.
Bye. Okay.
One of these. This one. So that's going to be it for today's stream. I do have a stream planned for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so keep an eye out for that. And other than that, follow me on Twitter @WizardCM to know when I go live. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!